people, welcome back to Food Glam Life. I hope you're doing very well today. I have had a lot of people on my previous videos ask me to let them know how I do my hair at home, how I style it. I don't do any special styling at home too much, except for maybe curling it in once a while with a wand or straightening. I try not to use a straightener too much. And a lot of times I just let my hair air dry, but usually it just looks like a crazy frizzy mess at that time. So I do like to blow dry, and especially in the winter I like to blow dry because I get to have straight, voluminous and silky looking hair. I know it's not the best, it's not in the best of conditions, but I thought I would film this video really quickly because I'm going to be getting my keratin done tomorrow. So I probably won't be needing to blow dry after that for a few months. So I thought I should get this in. If you want to know how to do a simple, easy-ish blow dry at home that just gives you straight hair but that still has shine and volume, then keep on watching. I do what I think is the easiest for me, and it's usually like a straight sort of a blowout. So obviously my hair is wet. So basically we're going to go through that, and I hope this might help some of you. I know some of you have asked me to do this, so let's go with that. First of all, I've washed my hair, obviously, but आपने बिल्कुल dripping wet बालों के साथ hair dry नहीं करना है. So here's the thing, if your hair is dripping wet, like you're right out of the shower, unless you're in a super duper hurry, I would not recommend that because it takes longer for your hair to dry and there's more of that heat from the blow dryer going onto your hair. So what you want it to be is like 85 to 90% dry. So just like I had the towel on my head, keep that towel on your head for a little while. Some people like to keep a t-shirt on their head because it absorbs better and it's not as damaging for your hair. The other thing you don't want to do is don't rub your hair like this. Okay? One thing that I can say for sure is that what you want to do is take your hair and kind of just squeeze out the excess water as opposed to rubbing it. I'm just going to just press it between the towel, and that's just going to absorb the extra dampness. I'm going to do this video standing up because I usually, believe it or not, do my hair and my makeup standing in front of the mirror because, I don't know, I feel like I have more control. I can get up right next to the mirror and see. So I have the mirror behind me. I'm not, like I said, I don't make it too complicated for myself because this is just something I need to be able to do pretty regularly. So it's not very professional or any of that stuff. But I'm going to put out some tips along the way. I shampooed and conditioned my hair. So when you shampoo, keep your shampoo only to your roots. You don't need to bring it down to the bottom of your hair unless you're using a toning shampoo, which is like a purple shampoo for color toning. Other than that, your shampoo should only go on your roots because it's usually your roots that are greasy and not the ends. So if they're dry and you're going to put shampoo on it, it's just going to get drier. The second thing you need to do is you do need to condition. And why I'm saying that is like a lot of people will be like, obviously condition karna zaruri hai. Lekin maine to like parlor waliyon se bhi bahut suna hai ki conditioner na lagaye. And I think that's terrible advice because it's like saying wash your face but don't moisturize. So we all know how important moisturizing is for your skin. So in the same way, conditioning is really important for your hair because it's a moisturizer for your hair, especially for the ends of your hair. Now, when you are conditioning, avoid, again, the area that you shampooed, your roots, avoid it. Just once you start getting to this part where your hair is away from your actual head, from that all the way down, you want to coat your hair with shampoo, with conditioner. Now, if you want to know recommendations, I used a new conditioner, so hopefully we'll see how it turns out. And then once I come out of the shower, I like to use two things. One is a white tooth comb, which I really, really recommend because this way you can take out any tangles without, pulling on your hair. Then we sort of try to do that. So as you can see, because I conditioned, it's actually much easier for me to just do this. Also because it's such a white tooth comb. So I'm going to do that on both sides. The other thing that I like to use is a wet brush. And I've talked about this before. This is just the one that I got from AliExpress. But anything, basically, these wet brushes have very flexible kind of bristles. So it doesn't really tug on your hair too much. So before I start, I obviously also have my blow dryer. This one I got from Spain. It's called Ultron. You can use any blow dryer that works for you. The only thing that I would recommend is that it has a few settings of like at least 2 settings of heat. Okay, ek thoda sa warm ho, ek thoda sa hot ho, and then at least 2 settings of how much of it blows out. 1. So you see how that was more. And then the other thing that I would highly recommend is to get a blow dryer that has a narrow, what is this called? Vent? Whatever this thing is. Just wherever it blows, because they have all sorts. There's some that you'll get that's just that, and that's just going to cause more frizz. So if you want lesser frizz, then if you'll notice when you get it done at the salon, they'll use ones that have really, really narrow slots over here. I can't remember what it's called. I'm sorry if it's just not going through my head. But yeah, so the narrower this is, the more concentrated the hot air will go, and the faster and better your hair will dry without frizz. Now, before we start drying, we have our damp hair. Next thing you need to do is use a heat protectant spray or a conditioning spray, a leave-in conditioner. So usually heat protectants are also like conditioning sprays and vice versa. So this one I'm using, and I specifically took this one out. I have a bunch of other ones in my bathroom, but this one, because it's easily available in Pakistan, this is the Kyone thermal protector. You can get it easily because Kyone products are easy to get. And this is the way I'm going to do it. I'm going to spray it inside and outside. So you see I'm lifting my hair, and I just want to make sure it gets in everywhere. And again, I'm not really going to be like sectioning and all of that because, like I said, I want this to be easy for myself. So I've really made sure to work that in. The other two things that I like to use is like I like to go in with serums. And why I do this is because, again, these help with not having so much frizziness. You can use one or the other or both like I am. This is the grapeseed glossing serum by The Body Shop, and I'll take like 1 or 2 pumps of that. And then the other one is this Tresemme Keratin Smooth with Marula oil. This smells really nice. So this also I'm going to take like 1 or 2, and then I'm going to rub it between my hands and go like that. Again, see, I'm not going to go into my roots. I'm only going to focus on the lengths of my hair. That was for one side, I think was enough. I'm going to go in with more for the other side. So 4 pumps for one side and 4 pumps for the other side, 2 of each. And again, make sure you rub it between your hands to get it evenly through. I like to concentrate it most on my ends because that's where the most dryness is. Already this kind of smooths out my look. Also, please ignore this. I was trying to wax my upper lip and I did it too many times on one side. So now this is a good time to get the wet brush and just do this brush through, because this kind of evenly distributes that product that you just put in your hair. All right, so I also made sure that I kind of made a middle parting, although this will probably get messed up later on because I usually do a side part, so honestly it doesn't really matter that much. Now before we get started, this is the brush that I want to tell you about that has really made it much easier for me to do this. So this brush I got it from Islamabad, from one of the pharmacies. It's not like branded or anything special, it just says Italian on it. But the cool thing about this is that it has these plastic bristles that are also quite flexible, and then inside it, if you can see, there are these fiber kind of bristles. So that is what gives my hair the smooth look that I usually want, and makes it really fast because I'm just using it in straight motions. If you can't find this, what I used to use before, and which you can also use for a really quick rough blow dry, are one of these paddle brushes. Those are pretty common. And then of course, if you want to go in and then give yourself curls or waves or just whatever kind of look, these always are very helpful. My only suggestion with these is to make sure that these bristles are long enough to catch your hair if you have longer hair or thicker hair. And the ceramic ones like this one are better because they kind of trap the heat and give your hair a better hold. But we're going to be using this, and I'm going to be using this with it just to make sure that nothing got tangled up, because this is just going to be my detangler. So before I start using the brush, I go in on a low heat, which is that, but a high spray or high blow, whatever it is. And that will further dry out some of the hair before I start styling it. So at this stage, you're gonna go under and then go over just to get it a little more dry. Also, when you put air under right here and blow it up, that gives good volume. All right, so just for comparison, you can see how this is still quite damp and it's kind of hanging there. And this is quite roughly blow dried out, but it's still kind of damp. Like I can't leave it like this. If I did, it'll be just really frizzy. So I'm just gonna do that on the other side as well. So this is where this brush comes in handy, because once I've done that, my hair obviously is going to get a little more tangled. So I like to just brush it out again. See, I just caught a tangle right there. You can see there's a little more resistance, but I still feel like the dampness there. Now we're ready to get into the brushwork. So the way I will go with it now is that I'm going to put it on a higher heat, okay, and on a high blow as well. And at first I'm going to go like this outwards, and I'm going to make sure that my hairdryer, like the nozzle, that's what it's called, nozzle, right? That is the closest to the hair and follows the brush as it goes down. So just watch. So you want to make sure that you follow the blow dryer all the way as the brush goes through. Don't stop here and then, because then you won't get that shine and that control all the way down. So we're going to continue. Actually, I realized that another thing that I do like to do is grab the top part of my head with the shorter hair and just put that kind of for the end. Should have done that first, but so you're just gonna grab it right here. This is pretty much the only sectioning that I'm gonna do. The only thing is I'm putting it on one side and on the other. And already you can see how there's more of a shine on this side versus that side. And why I like using this brush is because I just have so much more control with this kind of a brush as opposed to the round brush. I don't need to use two hands. I can use it with one hand and it moves along slowly. So you see already I have my volume, but it's also straight and it looks a lot shinier and silkier. And now what I like to do is go from the inside. So whereas I was holding this on this side and holding this here, I'm gonna switch and then move this way and hold this on this side. And I'm still on the high heat. And when you do the high heat, you can actually see some of the steam coming out. That's good because that means it's not going to be as frizzy. So when I feel like it's good amount of dry, I'm gonna stay at a higher heat, but I'm going to go to number 1 where it's a little soft. I use this more for like the finishing touch, so this is where I'm finishing it up. I'm just gonna make sure that there's no hair in the back that's still wet. And I hope I don't need to say this again, but you know I'm not a professional with hair, but this is just for amateurs when you're at home and you need to get a nice, silky, straight blow dry. That's how I do it. I'm gonna move on to this side now. So again, high heat, and then brushes on the right side. And one of the motions that you'll notice is that I have to bring this kind of over, and that's the important thing. I know this is harder, it's like harder to hold it, especially if you have a heavier blow dryer, but this absolutely makes a difference in what direction your hair is going to be, you know, if you want it to lay flat as opposed to frizzy. So all of this is anti-frizzy tips. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but you always want to make sure that the nozzle is facing downwards instead of facing upwards, because again, that's what's going to cause the frizz. So when you have it downwards, then that makes sure that the hair is sitting and the air is blowing downwards, obviously. So now I'm going to shift because I'm going to go inwards. Oh, and by the way, if at this point, before you got to this like dry and you wanted to start curling it, this is totally, you could totally do that. You could, you know, grab this, just to give you an example. But I mean, hold a little longer. It's too straight right now, but like if you wanted, you could give yourself waves and curls and all of that as well. Let me just finish with my low seat heat. I think I'm pretty satisfied. I could always... If you want to finish it up, give it a little more of an inward curl. And now, do this part. This is one of the reasons I don't like to section off, because then once you open it up later on, it sometimes gives you a harder time. So now you'll see that I have these kinks. And again, I'm gonna have to really pull it to get that straight. So we pretty much have most of it done. I'm gonna find my parting, because I usually have a side part. And then what I like to do is, because I like the top to have a little bit more volume, I'm just gonna grab that part, and I could either use this brush or I could use this brush, you know, whichever. I'll just use this for right now. I'll go in with a low heat, and then I pull upwards. And what this does is just this kind of gives me some volume right here. So it's not completely flat. And again, if you want more volume, just flip your head upside down, run your fingers through your hair, and flip it back. And that way, if you felt like you lost any volume, you can just go and get that back. And again, if you're not happy with how this is set, I'll also show you with this brush. You can always go back. You can use some hairspray too. I just don't like using too much hairspray and things because I want my hair to be soft and not crunchy. So there you go. That's how I have my front bang, or whatever you want to call it. It's a little outgrown for a bang. And the reason I wanted to film this video right now is because I'm going for my keratin treatment tomorrow. So I'm not really going to hopefully be needing to do hair blow drying. And I thought I really need to get this in because people have been requesting this and I haven't done it. So that's why. As a final step, I like to use something that is a shine spray or a glossing spray. This one is by Kerastase. It's a little expensive. I don't think it's really all that great, but the only thing that I end up using this for is, you know, you can also use like a finishing cream if it's not too heavy, but anything that's just light but will give you more shine. So this is kind of like half water, half oil. I don't spray it directly on my hair. I actually spray it on my hands. And again, I rub it and then I sort of just work it through the ends. And as you can see, our hair has a lot more shine and volume and body than we did before, or when we even did the rough puff dry, whatever that was. But yeah, this is, I kind of work it through my hair. I have a habit of really like playing with my hair and stuff. So, but the thing with this blow dry is that it's pretty good with that because you want to maintain the volume anyway. So I like to sort of just, you know, run my fingers through my hair, kind of make sure that the volume stays, and as does the shininess. I'm going to come closer just to show you. So this is the reason why I like to do this, because when I don't blow dry my hair and my hair air dries, it's just so damaged looking and frizzy. And I know this heat is not good for my hair, but trust me, I don't do it that much. A lot of times I let it air dry, especially if I don't have time. But when I just want to look a little more put together and just want to feel better about myself, especially about my hair, because when I blow dry my hair like this, I just feel like it looks healthier. I just look better. So yeah, that's how I do it. And I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions about my technique or any other questions about products or what you could use, please mention them in the comments down below. I do read all your comments and I will be answering anything that is related to this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do remember to give it a thumbs up and comment. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. Hit the ring bell so you get notified every time I post a video. And what else? I hope to see you next time. Take care. Goodbye. Mwah.